Not wasting my time on books, they feeling my rhymes. My stardom is now, I ain't watching the time. I'm going ended, no paper to sign, ain't no dotted line. See, I'm on my grind, mind on the million, I'm going, I ride with a semi. They know I'm a feeling, but I keep it with me. Rather he judge before I let him. I'm 205 KayWay. I'm straight out of Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I rap like a motherfucker and I sing a little bit, so yeah, that's pretty much it. About 3 years publicly, but I've been making music for years, since I was probably like 11. I'm gonna be 28. I probably don't look it, you know, black don't crack, but you know.
2 people were shot from what we know now from police. We're still waiting to get that information or more information on how this happened, what led to this shooting. But we have seen so far many police officers right now, much of their focus has been at and in front of this blue house here where you see these officers talking.
She was standing on a porch, just laughing with friends. Music probably playing in the background, maybe someone cracking jokes about nothing important. Normal Wednesday night energy, you know? The kind of night where you're not thinking about anything heavy, just existing. And then the shots came. Multiple rounds, fired from somewhere outside, not aimed at her specifically. She wasn't the target. But bullets don't care about intentions. They don't ask questions. They just find people. Kayla Warren, 28 years old, rapper, mother, future cosmetologist, hit the ground on that porch in Birmingham, Alabama. August 21st, 2024, 8:05 p.m. She didn't make it. But here's the thing that makes this worse, way worse. The people who did this, they walked free for over 7 months. And when they finally got caught, the reason why this even happened might shock you more than the shooting itself. This is the story of Kayla Alexandria Warren, popularly known as KayWay. And I need you to stay with me on this one, because what happened to her could happen to anyone, anywhere, for no reason at all. Kayla Alexandria Warren wasn't famous, not yet, but she was on her way towards fame.
But you know, I've been doing it publicly for 3 years. So, like when I was probably like 21, now I say about 21, I was rapping. My brother was like, "Nah, you gotta say it with your chest." I never knew what he meant, you know, cause I just was rapping, thinking I knew everything.
Welcome to Homicide Case Files, where real stories meet real consequences with no fluff, just the truth. Hit subscribe if you find meanings in these stories. This story will be taking us to Birmingham, Alabama, USA, the Magic City. In 2024, the year Kayla was killed, Birmingham recorded over 130 homicides. That's more than 2 people murdered every single week. Most of them young, most of them caught in violence they had nothing to do with. The Germania Park neighborhood where this happened sits in southwest Birmingham. Working class, families trying to make it, but like a lot of areas in the city, it's not immune to the gun violence that's been tearing through Birmingham for years. The 700 block of 30th Street Southwest looks quiet during the day, normal. But everyone who lives there knows someone who's been affected by this kind of violence. Everyone has a story. August 21st, 2024 just added another one to the list. Because in Birmingham, you can do everything right and still end up a victim. That's the reality Kayla walked into that night. Born in 1996, raised in Birmingham, she went by a few names depending on who you asked. To her daughter, she was just Mom. To her friends, she was Kayla. But to the small but growing fan base she'd built online, she was KayWay. Sometimes 205 KayWay, repping that Birmingham area code hard. She wasn't trying to be the next Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. She wasn't chasing platinum records or stadium tours. Kayla's music was raw, personal, local. The kind of stuff you'd hear bumping out of a car window in West Birmingham on a summer night. Real talk, real struggle, real pride, and people connected with it. She'd won Female Artist of the Year at a regional competition. Not a huge deal to the mainstream world, but in her circle, that meant everything. It meant she was being seen, heard, respected. But music was only part of her life. Kayla had a daughter, a little girl who was her entire world. If you scroll through old social media posts, you'll see it. Every other photo, every caption, it's her baby. Kayla wasn't just a rapper. She was a mom first, and she was working her ass off to build something better for both of them. That's why she went back to school. In 2024, Kayla enrolled at Midfield School of Cosmetology in Birmingham. She wanted a trade, a backup plan. A career that didn't depend on streams or shares, or whether some algorithm decided to push her video that week. She wanted stability. She wanted to be able to do hair, nails, lashes, build a clientele, maybe open her own shop one day. She was 28, still young, still dreaming, still grinding. Her family describes her as sweet, caring, the kind of person who'd check on you even when she was going through it herself.
Back again. This is for the books. This is for the keeping the phone. Yeah. Don't play with it.
Friends say she had this energy about her, like she genuinely wanted to see people win. No jealousy, no fake love, just real support. And she was doing everything right. Balancing motherhood, school, music, friendships. She wasn't in the streets, she wasn't beefing with anyone. She wasn't caught up in drama, she was just living. But on August 21st, 2024, living wasn't enough to keep her safe. Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. Germania Park neighborhood, southwest Birmingham. Quiet block, working class area. The kind of place where people know their neighbors, where kids ride bikes in the street until the streetlights come on. Kayla and a few friends decided to hang out that evening. Nothing wild, just a casual kickback at a house on the 700 block of 30th Street Southwest. Maybe they were celebrating the end of the week. Maybe they just needed to decompress. Maybe there was no reason at all, just people being people. Around 8:05 p.m., someone pulled a trigger. Multiple shots, fired toward the house. Not from inside, from outside, somewhere in the dark. Kayla was on the front porch when the bullets came. She didn't have time to run, didn't have time to duck, didn't even have time to process what was happening. She was hit. Inside the house, 20-year-old Brian Adams was also struck. He was just a kid, barely out of his teens. He didn't know he was about to die either. Neighbors heard the gunfire, that sharp, unmistakable crack that makes your stomach drop. One woman, 66 years old, was inside her own home nearby when bullets tore through her walls. She wasn't hit. Pure luck. A few inches to the left and she would have been another name on the news. But Kayla and Brian, they didn't get lucky. Birmingham Fire and Rescue rushed them both to UAB Hospital. Kayla was critical. Brian was critical. Doctors did what they could, but some injuries are just too severe. Some damage can't be undone. Kayla Warren died that night. Brian Adams held on until the next day, August 22nd, before he succumbed to his wounds. 2 lives. Gone. Just like that. And here's the part that makes your blood run cold. According to Birmingham police, neither Kayla nor Brian were the intended targets. The shooter or shooters weren't aiming for them specifically. They just fired toward the house, didn't care who was inside, didn't care who was on that porch, didn't care about the little girl who would grow up without her mother. They just shot and walked away. Imagine being Kayla's family that night, getting the call, rushing to the hospital, praying the whole way that it's not as bad as it sounds, that maybe she'll pull through, that maybe this is all a nightmare you'll wake up from. And then you get there, and the doctors tell you there's nothing more they can do. Your daughter, your sister, your friend, your child's mother, gone, because someone decided to spray bullets into a house full of people they didn't even know. Kayla's daughter was too young to understand, but one day she'll be old enough to ask questions. Why did this happen? Who did this? Why did they take my mom? And the answers, when they finally came, wouldn't bring her back.
We've had a chance to speak with some people who were still lingering around shortly after the shooting happened and learned about some of the victims, and some of what I learned from them I will not say on television because we are still waiting to get information confirmed from police at this moment. And when we first arrived on scene too, we did see 2 ambulances drive off.
Birmingham police opened a homicide investigation immediately. Detectives canvassed the neighborhood, interviewed witnesses, collected shell casings. looked for surveillance footage, all the standard procedure, but leads were thin. No one saw the shooter, no one heard a car peel off, no one knew why that house that night became a target. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Kayla's case, along with Nebrian's, went cold. Local news covered it for a few days. Social media mourned, rappers posted tributes, fans shared her music. But eventually, the algorithm moved on. The headlines shifted. The world kept spinning, and Kayla's killer was still out there. Her family held vigils. They begged for information. They pleaded with anyone who knew anything to come forward. Birmingham police urged the public to call the homicide unit with tips. But silence. Just silence. 7 months passed. 7 months of her daughter growing up without her. 7 months of her mother waking up every day to a reality where her baby girl was gone. 7 months of wondering if justice would ever come. And then, in April 2025, something finally broke. April 10th, 2025. More than 7 months after Kayla and Nebrian were murdered. Birmingham police, specifically the Special Operations Crime Reduction Team, had been working this case quietly, following leads, building evidence, tracking down witnesses who were too scared to talk at first, piecing together cell phone records, watching surveillance footage from nearby businesses, doing the grunt work that doesn't make headlines but solves cases. And it finally paid off. That day, detectives located a man named Jamil Carrillo Jemison, 23 years old, Birmingham resident. They found him on a side street in West Birmingham and took him into custody without incident. No dramatic chase, no standoff, just a quiet arrest. 2 days later, on April 12th, they presented their case to the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. The DA reviewed the evidence and issued an arrest warrant. Jamil Carrillo Jemison was formally charged with capital murder in the deaths of Kayla Warren and Nebrian Adams. Capital murder. In Alabama, that's the heaviest charge you can face. It means the state believes you committed murder under aggravating circumstances. It opens the door to life without parole. In some cases, even the death penalty. Carrillo Jemison was booked into Jefferson County Jail. No bond, meaning he wouldn't be walking out until trial. But the story didn't end there. 4 days later, on April 14th, police made a second arrest. Laundry demon Todd Green, also 23 years old. Also from Birmingham. Detectives had been building a case against him too. Witness statements placed him at the scene that night. Cell phone data confirmed he was there. The pieces fit. On that Monday afternoon, the crime reduction team picked him up in Birmingham's West End. Same process. Presented the case to the DA, got the warrant, charged with capital murder. Ladre Todd Green joined Carrillo Jemison in Jefferson County Jail. No bond. Both men now facing the possibility of spending the rest of their lives behind bars. With those arrests, Birmingham police announced they had solved their 13th cold homicide case from 2024. For the families of Kayla and Nebrian, it was a moment of relief. Not closure, because nothing brings your loved one back, but at least the beginning of accountability. At least someone would answer for what happened. But even with 2 suspects in custody, one massive question remained unanswered. Why? Why did they shoot into that house? What was the motive? Who were they really aiming for? And if Kayla and Nebrian weren't the targets, who was? Here's where this gets frustrating, and honestly, terrifying. As of now, prosecutors haven't released a public statement on motive. We don't know if this was a case of mistaken identity. We don't know if it was retaliation for something that had nothing to do with Kayla or Nebrian. We don't know if the shooters were aiming for someone else entirely and just got the wrong house. What we do know is this. Birmingham police believe the shooting wasn't targeted at Kayla or Nebrian. The official statement says an unknown suspect or suspects fired shots toward the residence, not at specific people, toward the house. Like they just wanted to send a message, or scare someone, or hurt whoever happened to be there. And that's the part that should keep you up at night. Because it means Kayla died for nothing. She wasn't involved in a beef. She wasn't caught up in street politics. She wasn't beefing on social media or running with a dangerous crowd. She was literally just at a friend's house on a Wednesday night, living her life. And someone decided to shoot? Think about that for a second. How many times have you been at a friend's house? How many times have you stood on a porch laughing, talking, not thinking twice about your safety. How many times have you assumed that because you're not involved in anything, you're safe? Kayla probably thought the same thing. But safety is an illusion when violence is random, when bullets don't have names on them, when someone can just pull up, shoot, and leave, not caring who they hit. Now Brian Adams, 20 years old, same story. He wasn't the target either. He was just there. Wrong place, wrong time. A phrase we use so casually, but when you really think about it, it's horrifying. Because it means your life can end not because of anything you did, but just because you were standing in a spot someone else decided to shoot at. The 66-year-old woman whose house got hit, she could have died too. She was inside her home, minding her business, and bullets came through her walls. She survived by sheer luck, a few inches. That's all that separated her from being another victim. So when people say gun violence is a community problem, this is what they mean. It's not just about the person pulling the trigger. It's about the ripple effect. The families destroyed, the kids left without parents, the friends traumatized, the neighbors who don't feel safe in their own homes anymore. Kayla's daughter will grow up without her mother. Now Brian's family buried a 20-year-old. And for what? Over what? We still don't know. And that might be the cruelest part of all. So who are these guys? What do we know about the two men charged with taking Kayla and Brian's lives? Not much, honestly, and that's by design. Police haven't released a ton of information about their backgrounds. No lengthy criminal histories plastered across the news, no social media deep dives, just names, ages, and the charges they're facing. Jamil Carrillo Jemison, 23. Birmingham, Ladre Demond, Todd Green, 23, Birmingham. Both young, both from the same city as their alleged victims. Both now sitting in jail, facing capital murder charges that could end with them never seeing the outside world again. What we do know is that investigators believe they acted together. The arrests happened days apart, but the cases are connected. Witness testimony, cell phone records, physical evidence. It all pointed to these two men being present that night. Being involved, being responsible. But here's the thing. Even if they're convicted, even if they spend the rest of their lives in prison, it doesn't undo what happened. Kayla is still gone. Brian is still gone. The trauma is still there, and the why is still unanswered. Maybe it'll come out at trial. Maybe prosecutors will present a motive. Maybe we'll learn this was all over something stupid, a dispute, a grudge, some petty street politics that cost two innocent people their lives. Or maybe we'll never know. Maybe it'll remain one of those cases where the senselessness is the whole point. Where there's no satisfying explanation because there is no logic to it. Either way, two men are facing the consequences, and two families are left to grieve. Let's talk about who Kayla really was, because she deserves to be more than a headline, more than a case number, more than a statistic in Birmingham's 2024 homicide count.
For you, if you looking for me, I was dumb at a young age, you see. More like soft and rough, you were white with my tears, but you knew I was right. Knew it would let you and be in my life. Switching lanes out of sight, out of mind. Was a fool for your love, I had even this.
Kayla Warren was a mother, a daughter, a friend, a rapper, a student, a dreamer. She had plans. She was going to finish cosmetology school, maybe open her own salon one day. She was going to keep making music, keep pushing her sound, keep repping Birmingham. She was going to watch her daughter grow up, be there for first days of school, graduations, heartbreaks, triumphs. She was gonna live, but she didn't get that chance. Her music is still out there. You can still find her tracks on streaming platforms. And if you listen, really listen, you'll hear someone who was just getting started. Someone who had something to say. Someone who was figuring out her voice. People in Birmingham's hip-hop community remember her as genuine. No fake energy. No industry politics. Just someone who loved making music and loved her city. Her friends describe her as sweet, caring, the kind of person who'd check on you when you were going through it, the kind of person who'd show up for you. And now she's gone. Because someone decided that bullets were the answer to whatever problem they thought they had. Kayla's family has had to live with this loss every single day since August 21st, 2024. They've had to watch her daughter ask for her mom. They've had to celebrate birthdays and holidays without her. They've had to scroll past her photos and videos and remember that she's never coming back. And they've had to wait for answers, wait for arrests, wait for justice. The arrests in April 2025 gave them some hope. But hope doesn't bring Kayla back. It doesn't fill the void. It doesn't undo the trauma. What it does do is send a message that even when cases go cold, even when months pass, even when it feels like the world has moved on, there are people still working, still fighting, still refusing to let these deaths be forgotten. Birmingham Police's crime reduction team solved their 13th cold case from 2024 with these arrests. 13 families got some form of closure. 13 killers were taken off the streets. But there are still more unsolved cases, still more families waiting, still more killers walking free. And that's the reality we live in. Kayla Warren's story is a tragedy. There's no other way to put it. A young mother full of potential, taken too soon by violence that had nothing to do with her, to her family, to her daughter, to everyone who loved her. I'm deeply sorry for your loss. Kayla deserved so much more. She deserved to finish school, to see her music blow up, to watch her baby grow. She deserved to live.
Love it all, knowing they wanna see me fall. Don't know the pain I went through, so it's only right for me to ball. Fake friends, yeah, they calling, got nothing.
To those of you who watched until the end, thank you. Stories like Kayla's need to be told. Not for shock value, not for views, but because these are real people, real lives, real families, and they deserve to be remembered. If this story made you feel something, if it made you think twice about the fragility of life, about the randomness of violence, about the importance of paying attention to the world around you, then hit that subscribe button. Because we're going to keep telling these stories. We're going to keep shining a light on the victims who deserve justice. And we're going to keep asking the hard questions. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching, and see you on our next story.